Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John, and today's episode is brought to you by the dental equipment sales company, Yeah Dental. If you're looking for affordable products such as handheld x-ray units, digital sensors, curing lights, feel free to check them out. You can find them at www.yeahdental.com, and that is YEAH. You can also email them at sales@yeahdental.com. So now we're going to get into today's episode. We have a very special guest all the way from Oregon. We have Heidi, who is a dental assistant, of course. Hey, Heidi, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
Welcome, welcome. So,
Mhm.
so I wanted to have Heidi on to talk about what she has going on outside of dentistry. But first, we love to get some background, right? I always love to
Mhm.
ask people, what is it that got you into dentistry? I love hearing people's stories. It's like, oh, I've been wanting to get into dentistry since I was a kid, and my dentist inspired me. And whatever it is, we'd love to hear about it. So, Heidi, feel free to tell us all about that.
Mine was kind of a roundabout way. I was a travel agent for a while. I did property management. And then when my husband and I first got married, he is still in the car industry and he works a lot of weekends. And I was also working weekends at the time, and we got pregnant with our son. And I had a really good friend that was a dental assistant, and I didn't want to work weekends. Obviously, it's hard to find daycare for weekends. So she said, you should look into the dental assisting program. It's only a year program. I had one of my best friends was a family practice doctor and tried to talk me into going to be a medical assistant instead of a dental assistant. I looked at that program. It seemed like it was longer. They made less money, and you have to deal with the rest of the body versus just the mouth. So I was like, I think I'll stick with dentistry. Everybody always thought I had a nice smile. So I figured that would be an easier way to do it. So I got into the program, and, did my practicum at a general practice. And then we had one specialty I thought I wanted to be an, orthodontist assistant. That I wasn't fast enough taking off arch wires and rubber bands and everything. So I pretty much stayed with general dentistry, and I did some pediatrics.
Okay. So
So
how long have you been a dental assistant for now?
about 11 years.
11 years. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting. You
Yeah.
you still love it?
I do. I feel like it's changed a little bit since COVID. I feel like things have kind of, it's just I feel like it's kind of a younger girl's job. There's still quite a few people that I've worked with that are more my age, but I feel like, people hire girls or guys right out of school. And then a lot of them want to go into hygiene, which is fine. I didn't want to do the hygiene route. I just didn't want to do the same thing every day, all day. I liked general practice because we could do a little bit of everything every single day. And I love working with patients. Like that was my favorite, is patient care. I liked oral surgery, not a fan of endo, but yeah.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to the hiring process, it's tough anymore. You're absolutely right. Like since the pandemic, it's definitely changed the game as far as what's happened. I remember when the pandemic first hit, it was this major shortage, and dentists were kind of like, oh, assistants will come back. And then it's like a year later, assistants will come back. And
Yeah.
and then finally, after 3, 4 years, you stop seeing those same dentist posts about assistants coming back. A lot, we've seen a major shift in dental insurance in particular. I know a lot of
Mhm.
offices, they were inundated with offices closing, absorbing those patients, and now you see those lower reimbursing insurances being cut. And,
Mhm.
it's kind of, I don't want to say it's worked its way around, because I know a lot of offices are still short staffed, and it's like trying to get that new wave of dental assistants in there. That I
Yeah.
feel like that's where it's tough, because someone like yourself who's been in the field for 10 plus years, you're still a baby in my eyes. I just went over 30 years myself.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So
Yeah.
so January was 31 years for me.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
I know. I know. I listen, it's hard to believe I just turned 29. I can't figure
Oh yeah. Sweet 16 and never been kissed.
exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So having this younger generation and trying to be that person who's like, well, this is the way it was, and you're trying to show them. And of course, I feel like there's been an explosion in technology with, digital sensors and digital X-rays and handheld units and digital scanning.
Mhm.
That's something that all of a sudden now it's so many offices are using that. Right now it's projected that approximately 13% of offices still use conventional and traditional film. So
Hmm.
80% of the 87% of the offices have made the leap into the digital future, but you still have other people who, we have students who we're teaching digital and they come back from an externship and telling us that, oh, I was in an office where I had to go into a dark room and
Yep.
it's hard to, I mean, I haven't worked with traditional film since 2007. So,
Hmm.
when you think, I mean, I can't believe next year is going to be 20 years since I've last touched that. And it's
Wow.
like, trying to explain this to people who've never seen it before. It's definitely, I try and tell our students that they're in a great era of dentistry because we still make them take impressions. We still make them pour up models,
Hmm.
and they're also learning about digital scanning.
Hmm.
So for them, they're not these ones that are only digital scanning and they're not understanding the whole process, right?
Right. Hmm.
Or, we make them learn charting on paper and some students, we've had students who have worked in an office for a few years, trained on a job. Now they come back to school and they're like, I don't understand. I do so well at my office. Yeah, because you're just clicking like MOD. You're not
Hmm.
understanding the direction and the surface. So, just like anything else in life, I have kids who are in this digital age, and I try to explain to them about, yeah, understanding the process of how something works. That
Hmm.
that makes all the difference, right? So
Right. Of course.
so with you currently, how often are you working in an office? Like what else do you have going on?
So currently I am part-time. They consider it still full-time. I'm like 28, 30 hours a week roughly.
Okay.
I started a business about 3 years ago. I was doing both things full-time. I was working full-time in an office and then I was doing my business in the evenings and weekends. But I kind of took a step back and did like just part-time dentistry. But right now we've had some shifting in the office I'm at. My doctor broke her thumb on a bounce house. Random things happen. And she had to have surgery this week. So our office is closed down and she might come back partially full, like FMLA for a little while. So currently looking for more full time work. But yeah, I'm in a GP office. It's really small, but it's a DSO. So we're still
Okay.
cranking it. Yeah,
Okay. So business wise, you have your own business. So why don't you
I
tell us
do.
a little bit about that?
So my husband and I bought our first home about 5 years ago, and about 3 years ago, we were trying to, do some things like put up a fence and things like that. All the things that cost quite a bit of money.
Oh yeah.
And my son was in private school at the time, and so I was trying to figure out a job that I could do, at home. Where I didn't have to put him in childcare or have family come and watch him. And I've always been really good at baking and cooking and always enjoyed it. And so I started a cheesecake business. It's called Cheesecake Paradise here in Oregon. And I got licensed through the Department of Agriculture, Health Department. They all came to the house, kind of made sure everything was up to snuff. And it was just at first, it was just going to be something to create side money, and it's kind of branched into something completely different. And people laugh when they hear that I'm a dental assistant. They're like, "Oh, job security. You're cranking out the sweets
Of
and then
course.
come in to get a cavity filled.
Yeah. Do you give everybody a
So
toothbrush with a purchase of a
no, I
cheesecake?
should. That's a really smart way to do it though. Um, but yeah, I'm licensed to the Department of Agriculture. I did 21 weddings last year. I'm MBA certified as a wedding officiant basically for my business. So people come to me when they want, something other than cake. I'm also a DoorDash merchant. I got hooked up with DoorDash, so now they come to the house and pick up orders and everything.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. Well, that's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, 30% of my business is a celiac business. So I do a lot of gluten free. I also started dairy free this past year. So a lot of allergies here in Oregon, apparently. So dairy free, gluten free, and low sugar.
Wow,
So yeah,
that sounds like a lot going on. So with your
yeah.
business, do you mainly just do like in your area with Oregon? Is that what you're
Yeah, well,
talking
I'm
about?
licensed in Oregon and Southwest Washington. And so we do a lot of events. We do corporate events. I don't have a storefront. I don't have like a food truck. I'm working on getting a food truck. Right now, I just have like a Chevy Express cheesecake van, I call it. And I throw in my tent, and I have a refrigerated display case that I do events, pop-up events, and Saturday markets, farmers markets, things like that on the weekends. I'm doing one this weekend. And I, go home and cook and bake, and I can be there with my son and my family. And, I have like 7 fridges and freezers in my garage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So with going back to you said you do weddings. Like
I do.
what does that entail? Like do people order like a tower of cheesecake or what happens?
So I started doing something I've watched. I do a lot of, I like to do research. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And so my research was TikTok and Instagram. So I'd go on and see what made people viral. And a lot of the reasons I started this cheesecake business is because I watched a TikTok video, and this guy in Arizona, um, he was a personal chef during COVID, and that business kind of went out the window for a while because of corona. And
Right.
so he started doing cheesecake and porch pickup, which sounds kind of sketchy to me during COVID too, but whatever. And he went viral because of it. And I kind of reached out to him and said I was interested in maybe starting something similar. And because we weren't competing, he was like, for sure. And he started kind of mentoring me. And my son and I had already had a planned trip to go to Sedona, Arizona. And so we happened to go out and meet him and buy a cheesecake from him while we were out there. And he
Okay.
was like, had time for me, and like kind of gave me some tips on how to grow my business and how he did it. And I joined the Chamber of Commerce in my town here, and then one a little north. I also went to something called Wedding MBA in Vegas, where all the wedding vendors from all over the country go and meet.
Oh, yes.
And we take classes. It's just like a continuing education, but for weddings. And I've learned a lot from that. I'm going again this year. I have one employee, my best friend, that she comes with me to events. And my son kind of wanted to follow in my footsteps and make some money too. So my husband bought a freeze dry machine, and he started doing freeze dried candy. And so my company's name is Cheesecake Paradise, and his is Freeze Dried Paradise. So he goes and sells candy at some of the events I do sometimes too.
That's awesome. And one thing you touch base on that I feel like it's not talked about enough is when you open a business, right? In the beautiful United States of America, you can apply to open a business, get an EIN number, and
Mm-hmm.
you can just go get a business account and just start your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that it'd be nice if they had a guide or a book where it said, hey, look at the SBA, the Small Business Association. Talk to your Chamber of Commerce. These are
Yep.
things that, our school has been in business now for approximately 5 years. And we are finally, now we got into the SBA right away, luckily, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody really talked to us about the Chamber of Commerce till probably about 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
and the Chamber of Commerce for us made a huge difference, and they put us in touch, like literally within the first probably 3 or 4 meetings, they put us in touch with people to write grants.
Hmm.
Hey, you should meet this person. I mean, it's amazing the connections and the networking that happens through the local chamber of commerce. So,
Yeah.
for someone like yourself running a business out of their house, and
Hmm.
it's like, hey, I got to do this. You put in the research, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from this is just not opening something and hoping on a wing and a prayer, that you do have to put in that research, you have to put in that work. And whenever you do have a successful business, people, they say that most overnight successes are really 5 years in the making, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh, must be nice,
Hmm.
overnight success. And they don't see all of the things that you've done, the work you're putting in, the plans you have for the future. Whether it's a nationwide takeover of Cheesecake Paradise, but you have steps, you have a plan in place, right?
Hmm.
You have your truck coming up, and then from there,
Hmm.
you're going to the networking at the wedding venues. I mean,
Hmm.
these are very key things that you're doing. And looking back at it, the number one thing that you did was you weren't afraid to ask for help, right? You
Hmm.
reached out to a complete stranger
Yeah.
and you said, "Hey, can you tell me how to do this? Because I'd love to know how to do this."
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary trying to do something new. And it's
Hmm.
especially scary trying to ask someone that, you know, you don't know, and you're
Hmm.
asking for help. But the one rule that I've kind of adapted being a business owner is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Hmm.
So you have to ask, you
You
know,
do.
and I think that we get calls all the time asking for advice on how to open a school. And I mean, I love it. I'll talk to anybody about the opportunity business wise. I the main takeaway here for that I'm hoping someone gets out of this, the underlying message is that as a dental assistant, you can do anything. You know,
Hmm.
it's with in Heidi's case, she's dental assistant, she's still working as a dental assistant, but
Hmm.
she's building this business. And honestly, people like Heidi and myself, this is when I get offended when I'm in dental groups and somebody will ask a business question and you respond and they're like, "Well, how would you know that? You're not a practice owner." You don't have to be a practice owner to know how a business operates,
Uh-uh.
right?
No,
So
exactly.
even if you have one employee, 10 employees, you still understand the concept of business, and you
Hmm.
know what your supplies are costing you, what
Hmm.
what it is that you're the market, how you're charging. And these are all things that even we at the school have to factor in as far as, tuition, what it costs for books,
Hmm.
what it cost us for electricity for the building. Like these are all things.
Hmm.
But getting into that SBA and that Chamber of Commerce, no matter if you're thinking about starting your own cheesecake business, hopefully not in Oregon or Southwest
I better not
Washington.
compete.
Yeah, Heidi will probably burn your truck down. So
Yeah.
don't come in, don't
No.
come in. Oh, no, 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 no. That was a joke.
Yeah.
She's not gonna do that.
No.
She's not there yet.
No.
So so with if you live in that area, don't reach out to Heidi because she's not going to mentor you. That's what's been established, right? Like if you reach
Nice. I'm
if you reach
nice.
out to Heidi and you want to get into the cheesecake business, she's going to need to see a driver's license and she's
Yeah.
going to need to see a copy of a utility bill first before
Right.
she commits to helping.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I think I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
We've been in touch for how many years now, and I've seen this whole
Oh,
journey. And
yeah.
so that's why I was kind of like, hey, like when I see your pop-ups, I feel like I'm trying to support you in that
I
aspect.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Even though I'm on the opposite coast,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you got a pop-up going on,
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love seeing it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I got a business account with FedEx and UPS, and I'm trying to figure out shipping nationwide. My sister lives in Eastern Tennessee, and she's got lots of friends over there that I came out last year and made about, I don't know, 10 cheesecakes for all her friends to purchase while I was out there visiting. It was supposed to be a vacation, but I ended up working. And then, so hopefully I'll be shipping here soon. I'll get my website. I have a website, cheesecake-paradise.com, and hopefully I'll have shipping figured out. That's going to
Okay.
be my next goal.
So this is why, once again, talking, networking, look into pirate ship. Okay.
Pirate ship.
Pirate ship. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Pirate, I do a lot of sales online. Listen, I'm a secret nerd. I collect baseball cards.
Okay, so does my
And
husband.
I should, your husband does too? All right, well, that's
Yeah.
who you need to talk to
Yeah.
next time, okay? That's who I
Yeah.
got to talk to. So, Pirate Ship, you create an account with them, and then
Okay.
they basically, you put in the dimensions, everything that's going on, how you're shipping it, and they basically come up with cheaper quotes through UPS, USPS. I don't know if FedEx is on there, but I know those two are on there. So, and then I print the label. I, take it to the post office. They scan it in, or I just take it to the counter, drop it off. But either way, they scan it in, and it's typically on average, an envelope with a baseball card costs me $6 if I went to the post office to ship it.
Mhm.
I normally get a low four to high four is what it cost me, like on Pirate Ship. So I'm saving,
Okay.
especially if you're shipping a lot, I'm
Yeah.
saving easily $1, $2 like every package that I'm shipping. So
Well, that would be good because I got quoted $100 to ship a 9-inch cheesecake before,
yeah,
and there's a lot that goes into that. It's a perishable item, so you have to ship it frozen. You have to
yeah,
ship it with dry ice. There's all sorts of packaging, and the box has to include styrofoam. I've looked into. I have 2 boxes that I've saved just to try a trial and error one, but
yeah,
it's a lot of money, and I'd have to pass that payment on to my customer.
right,
So I really can't justify spending $100 in shipping. So I'm trying to figure out different ways to go around it because I know there's a local cheesecake place here in town that does ship nationwide and they have a bigger following because of that.
yeah.
But I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, I would
Yeah.
say, I would say you should do some kind of, I mean, listen, I'm gonna eat two cheesecakes. All right. That's just me. But
Yeah.
but a lot of people are like, cheesecake's too rich. They'll only eat like one.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get some kind of, hey, get a friend in, do a two for a package,
Yeah.
and then people could absorb, split the cost. And now if now you're shipping two cheesecakes to, one house, but the friends can split it up.
Right.
That's listen, if I had a friend come to me and said, hey, I'm gonna order this cheesecake, but I go to order two, I'm in.
Mhm.
I'm in. Like
Yeah.
you don't gotta tell me anymore. Like
Right.
cheesecakes, and it's very hard to find a good cheesecake around here.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
Honestly,
I have more
um,
flavors than Cheesecake Factory, and I know Junior's Cheesecake back east. My sister has ordered from them before. So, yeah, I have a lot more flavors. I have a lot more sizes. I do full size, cupcake, mid, and mini cheesecakes. So I have lots of different options for my
okay.
customers.
So your cheesecake, you mentioned you have a website. Can you
I
say what
do.
it is again?
Cheesecake-paradise.com.
Okay. And then what about any social medias?
And then my Instagram is Cheesecake Paradise Girl because I'm a girl. And then
With an I or
Facebook
with a U?
with an I.
Okay.
And then my Facebook is just Cheesecake Paradise, and it has a really there's actually a Cheesecake Paradise. I didn't know this until I named my business in somewhere in Florida, but they're pretty small. It sounds like I think they're in the Panhandle. But mine is just Cheesecake Paradise on Facebook, and then I'm also Cheesecake Paradise on TikTok.
I mean, that's the one I was waiting for because you
Yeah,
stalked somebody on TikTok. So I was
yeah,
kind of like, okay, there has to be a TikTok account as well.
yeah. It's also I do post a lot on there, and I try to use CapCut and different, like when I went to the wedding MBA in Las Vegas 2 years ago, they had a whole thing about social media and how to gain followers and everything, and using CapCut and Canva and like all these different. I think you originally told me about Canva a couple years ago. How to adjust your, social media presence. There's a lot of people here in Oregon that are against AI. I found out recently this last week. I tried to post some little Easter thing for that my chat GPT had made, and they chewed me up and spit me out. So there's some learning curve, when it comes to that. They were very anti AI. So
I'm a person, I have an open mind.
yeah.
I feel like, and I'm definitely not someone who's going to message somebody and be like, you shouldn't do that. But I will tell you that when the craze went around, when people were using AI to make their profile pictures, and
Hmm.
everybody was doing that, and of course everybody in dentistry was doing something with dentistry, but like, if you did one, for example, it might show you holding a cheesecake as well.
Yeah.
I and then I had a friend who's very environment conscious, and she had posted about it takes 30 gallons of water to generate each image. And
Mm.
I was like, I don't even know what that means. So then I went down a rabbit hole of figuring out what that even means. And yeah, so these images of AI, most people seem to either A, they have a problem with it because of artistic integrity, that it's taking away from someone else, or B, the fact that an image like that takes 30 gallons of water to cool down the processor that it's taking seconds to create that image. So
Yeah. I
so
had
this
no
is
idea water was involved. Somebody was telling me that and schooling me on my actual post, not
right.
just, like private messaging me, like talking about how it was like causing the earth to have a drought or something. And I'm
Yes.
like, what?
Yeah.
I've
So
never
so
heard of
that's
that.
so that's kind of what I know that's one of those things that only so many
Yeah.
people would bring up. So then,
Right.
when I went down a rabbit hole, I was like, oh, this is like a real thing, because I was like, I don't
Hmm.
understand. So,
Right.
um, you know, I feel like it's so new that people just aren't used to it, and who knows. I get the concept of water, but I don't think people realize how much water is really in that's available to us. So, it's one of these things that'll balance out. I don't foresee a drought, but I'm also, that's not my area of expertise. So don't
Right.
don't feel free to send me a message after this. I'm just giving my opinion on AI.
Right.
It will go unanswered. I'm getting much better at my mental state, as far as, if I posted a meme about somebody getting an extraction and going outside and smoking, and I had literally somebody went on a rant about how I shouldn't mock patients and educate them, and I should contact my state for smoking cessation funding. And I wrote up this big long thing as a to to basically combat what they said. And right before I hit post, I had a moment of clarity. I deleted it and I just blocked them. I was like, this is normally I find
Ridiculous.
myself. I was
Yeah.
like, this is completely, because I even wrote about, we work in a dental field, and
Mm.
if the states are so concerned, they should be contacting dental offices and sending them the smoking cessation information.
Right.
But I found myself in an argument with myself, and I just blocked. I was like, blocked, I don't have
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
that's what I would recommend for you. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're trying to get two different types of customers, and it's like, if somebody's gonna have a problem with that, all you can do is just plead ignorance. Hey, I'm sorry,
Right.
I didn't know about it,
I
didn't
did.
do research.
Yeah. I just
That's
went
like,
and I hid all their comments. Like everybody was like, whoever does AI, I will not be giving money to. And I'm like, okay, like hide, hide, hide. I was like, no big deal. But it's like, there's just always going to be somebody has an opinion about
right,
something. Somebody has big feelings, especially here in Oregon. People have big feelings. And so, you just have to, there's a market for everything, and things happen for a reason. I'm a big believer
right.
in that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and you can please everyone. You just can't beat yourself up over it. And
Right.
just keep doing good things. Keep being a
Yeah.
good person. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where everything goes, as
Thank
far as the
you.
cheesecake goes. So outside of the social medias, is there any numbers, emails, any way to contact you?
Yeah, you can contact me on my business line. It is area code 503-586-6487. And my email address is CheesecakeParadiseGirl at gmail.com. There is a little inquiry on my webpage. If you do have any questions or you'd like to order something, you can go on there and you can put in your information, and it just sends me a little inquiry of all the information that you're looking for. And like I said, I do offer gluten-free. Dairy free is recent, and I don't have any soy or tofu or anything like that. I cannot do vegan. I can't get past the texture of a vegan cheesecake. I'm sorry, I still use eggs, but yeah. I don't feel like it's really cheesecake after that. So, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your time with us and telling us all about your story. So,
Yeah.
hopefully people get out there, follow, and we're excited to hopefully be a part of this nationwide journey. I'm going to get you that
Yeah.
pirate ship information so we can get that
Cool.
locked down
Thank
and
you.
figure out this shipping. I think the twofer. I really think that's listen, my son,
Might
he
work.
loves cheesecake. I
Yeah.
could see me ordering two.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to absorb the entire cost of that. So they're gonna that idea of splitting it with a friend, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just gonna my little broke best friend and I are going to be getting
Right.
cheesecake.
That's like my son too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anything
Well,
else
thank
you'd
you,
like to
John.
share before we go?
I think that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I appreciate being on.
Great, great. Well, listen, we here at Dental Assistant Nerds Podcast want to thank everyone for their support. Of course, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, TikTok. And should you want to talk about a topic in the future, maybe you want to be a guest or simply have a question, feel free to reach out to us at cornerstone da instructors at gmail.com. And we look forward to catching you at the next episode. So thank you very
Awesome.
much, and we hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Thanks, John.